Nobody actually fucking wants to go back to 2016. You're LARPing. 2016 was a year of, you know what, fuck that. Let me make an analogy. 2016 was basically the culmination of taking sweat-stained sticky balls and dumping them in a bowl of fruit juice only to extract that fruit juice and then pour it up in your drink. 2016 brought some of the worst trends I have ever seen in my life. Wasn't that the year of the emoji pants? The emoji pants that like big back fat niggas would wear and they would just walk around stinking like shit. Like I don't know how you would go back to this year and think of it as anything other than torture. Absolute torture. Torment even. I'd rather be in hell. So if this is the case, then why do we LARP and say that 2016 or 2026 is the new 2016 as if it is some year to be celebrated? Well, to be included. One person started that. It sounded cool. And then the rest of the sweaty, ugly, big nose, little chest, pussy bitches decided to hop on the trend because it was something that would be trending on TikTok. All of you are lying. Every single person who said this is lying. And in order to prove this fact, I'm going to go through and break down everything about everyone's so-called favorite year. Let's start with music. It isn't uncommon for people to hop on dick saying that new Cardi fell off, new this fell off, new that fell off. 2016 was their peak. Why don't they just go back to 2016? Because nobody would listen to that shit. Nobody would listen to that shit. Cardi can't even go back and be old Cardi. He would get no streams. You dumb bitch. Now, in order to prove this point, I'm going to echo an argument that people make all the time. Why don't artists just go back and steal the style of artists in 2016? Again, let's use Cardi. Bitch, there are millions. It's just that you would never see them because they are stuck at 26 streams on SoundCloud. Nobody gives a fuck about that shit, ever. You cannot go back and steal any trend from 2016 and hope to obtain even a semblance of success because people are lying to your face. Nobody wants that shit. Do you realize? I think people don't realize what they're saying. If you wanted something to return, all you would need is demand, and that shit would come packing in. Anything from 2016 can be recreated today. You know why it's not? Because it's ass. Let's take 2016 joggers, for example. The cuffed joggers at the bottom, the cargos. If a person stepped out today wearing that shit, he would get shitted on. I'm talking about put in the toilet, swirlied. 3 men would stand over him and have the most diarrhea, liquid-filled shit all over his crown. He would start balding because he got shitted on so much that day. That is how much you would get shitted on for wearing anything from Rue 21 2026. So I need us to stop the cap. It's not true. None of it is true. Rompers, that shit dead. Bucket hats, that shit dead. And if you are one of the few people who still wears bucket hats, thinking that, I guarantee you get made fun of. Nobody's stepping out in a bucket hat and some harachis and is not getting made fun of. I miss the days where clothing was simple and you could just step out in joggers and harachis and you didn't have all these fashion niggas. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. No, you don't, because you would just go back and do it. You don't do it. That's what you don't do it. Let me ask you a very simple question, and I want you to give me a very simple response. After that day, when 2026 hit, right, January 1st, you posted that story, 2026 is the new 2016, lying your ass off. Your ass just full of ass juice. You're lying. But let's say you were telling the truth, right? When you got in your car later that day, did you turn on Black Beatles? Bitch, you're lying. You're lying. Did you turn on 2K16? No. You didn't. You didn't put on anything from 2016 because it's performative. You're a performative little bitch. You went back and you did everything 2026 coded. You went and got matcha. You went and got a BBL. You went and got a colorful wig. You went and got back shots. You did everything. 2026 coded. You didn't do any of that shit. You weren't listening to Katy Perry. You're a liar. I can go through your Instagram story today, look at all your highlights, as opposed, take January 1st out. Maybe you did listen to Black Beatles one time. Every single other story is something released recently, huh? It almost sounds as if you're a lying bitch. Like I was saying, if you wanted anything in 2016 to come back, all it would take is for a lot of people to want it. And it would literally be 2016 again. You know why it doesn't happen? Because there's no demand for that shit. Matter of fact, I demand you to keep that shit vaulted. You know how Fortnite back in the day, they just used to be vaulting shit for no reason? Do that. Dude, I don't want to hear about that shit. And my last point. I don't think you want to hear about that shit because you're a fucking chud. Most of the people saying I want to go back to 2016 were fucking chuds. You hated your life. You weren't living that shit. You weren't traveling. You were in your room fat as shit playing Halo. Fucking chud. Stop lying. Literally, just stop lying. It takes nothing to stop lying.